Well, joining us now on set is Mohamad Elmasry. He's a political analyst and professor of media studies at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. Good to have you on the programme. The big question mark at the moment is what the Israelis are talking about is this operation in Rafah and how it's actually going to physically manifest itself militarily. That's the question, isn't it, at the moment?
I think so. I think that the Netanyahu government is still preparing to go into Rafah. I think that's still the most likely scenario. There are some analysts who think that this is more sort of just political posturing, but I happen to think that it's more likely than not that they are going to go in with some sort of a major operation into Rafah. It remains to be seen how they'll fare if they do. Hamas has, according to some recent reports, been able to be quite successful on the recruitment front. As the war has gone on, some Palestinian men have seen that they just don't have anything to lose, and they've now joined in the fighting. And also Hamas has seen an uptick in weapons. They've been able to use, sort of repurpose many of these unexploded bombs. There are thousands of unexploded bombs on the ground in Gaza. And Hamas has been able to repurpose those, and now they're using those as weapons. So what seemed like a crisis maybe a couple of months ago in terms of manpower and weapons doesn't seem like it's as much of a crisis anymore. So Israel may have its hands full in Rafah.
And of course, Rafah is still under attack. We are still reporting what we hear and see with our correspondents on the ground. And we know there is a limited operation, which the Biden administration seems to be able to deal with right now. But the level of response has, you might say, increased over the past 72 hours at least.
Right. Well, I think there was certainly an initial shock on Monday when Israel rejected the ceasefire. I think the United States expected that Israel was going to fall in line. The U.S. is kind of acting as a proxy for Israel in many ways, and this was the agreement that all sides had signed up for. Israel rejected it. There was an initial shock. Now the U.S. has temporarily paused this shipment as a way to sort of signal to Israel its displeasure. On the other hand, the U.S. is kind of talking out of both sides of its mouth. I listened to the press conference tonight with Matthew Miller at the State Department, and he's still saying that there's ironclad support for Israel, and he did use the word ironclad. And now he's softening his tone a little bit on Rafah. He's saying that the U.S. only opposes a major operation in Rafah. He also changed his previous discourse about Hamas. He used to say that Hamas needs to surrender completely, right? And now he's using a slightly different discourse with regards to Hamas. So you see the U.S. sort of softening its tone on it.
It can use the nuance of language, can't it, for the international audience, but for the domestic audience it doesn't work so easily because Biden's poll numbers are dropping, protests continue across university campuses and in major cities where those demonstrations continue. You know, Matthew Miller can say whatever he wants at the podium, and so can President Biden. It's just not winning people over, is it?
It's not. Biden is struggling right now at the polls. He's losing in all 7 swing states, according to the website 538. 39% of U.S. College students say they are pro-Palestinian now. Only 11% say they are pro-Israel. More college students are saying they support or sympathize with Hamas than sympathize with Israel. And there are all kinds of polling data that suggest that Biden is in a lot of trouble in November. That might be one reason why they're putting a little bit more pressure on Israel these days. I think Biden realizes he may well lose this election in November.
We'll see what happens. Mohamad Elmasry, it's good to speak to you and get your analysis. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.